Hi guys, welcome back to Bite Size Excel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Sumif, COUNTIF and AVERAGEIF. Now we looked in one of our earlier videos at Sumif, but we're just going to do a quick recap in today's video. So in this spreadsheet, we have an example of some spending over a number of different years from 2015 to 2019, a number of different categories and subcategories, and the amount that's been spent. And what we want to do is we want to add up in these summary boxes up here how much something is based on a single criteria, how many of that criteria are in our spreadsheet, and the average amount spent on the items within the criteria that we select. So in this example, we're going to first look at the year. So we want to add up how much is spent in each year. And to do this, we're going to use Sumif. So we're going to start our function equals Sumif. Now the first part is our range. Now this is the range that our criteria falls into. So in this instance, we want to select the year. So we're going to pick our year range. I'm going to make that absolute by using our shortcut F4. Put in our comma. Now we want our criteria to be the year that we want. Now we can either type this in or we can select a cell, which we can later change if we need to. So we're going to make that absolute as well. And the last criteria is our sum range, which is the column that we want to add up. So in this instance, it's our amount. And once again, using F4, I'm going to make that absolute. And if we hit enter, you'll see that you get the sum of all values in 2015. Now I can filter this list quickly by just 2015. And you can see that the value here matches the value in this total row that I put at the bottom of the table. So if we unfilter that, so we can check it for other years. So for example, 2016, the value changes, 2017, and we can check it for each one. Now COUNTIF works in a similar way to Sumif, however, you are only counting one column. So to do this, we type equals COUNTIF. Now essentially what you're doing, your first bit is your range, and what you're going to do is you're going to ask it, how many times does my criteria appear in this range? So in this instance, we'll select this column. I'll make it absolute. And again, we want our criteria, and we'll link it again to this cell. And that's it. There's only two parameters within this function. And we're going to hit enter. You see 2018 appears 8 times on the list. And if we update it to a different value, you'll see it's again 8, because within this particular example, there's the same number of rows within each year. Lastly, we're going to look at AVERAGEIF, which works exactly the same as Sumif does. So equals AVERAGEIF. As with Sumif, the first parameter is your range, so your year in this instance. Then we select our criteria, and then we select our average range. And if we hit enter, you'll see that you get the average of these 2015 values, because that's what I have in here. If we look down here, average 1032, which is the same as what we've got. If you use AVERAGEIF, and if there's no results with your criteria, you will get an error because essentially you are having something dividing itself by 0. Now, so we wanted to change our criteria and instead look at our category. We can change these functions. Now, a quick way to do this is actually, if we change our column that we're looking at to our category column, we can just drag it across. And this down to our utilities. You would instead get the sum of all your utilities. So if we were to uncheck this and look at utilities, you'll see that that 13,000 is the same as the 13,000 we get here. One little point to note is when you're looking at words in your criteria, you can actually use a wildcard. So you could actually put a little star on the end here. So essentially it will look up anything that starts with UT and then return the sum of that criteria. So if we hit enter now, you'll see that it stays the same. And if you were to change any of these values, it still starts with the UT, so it's still including it in there. However, if you were going to put something in front, it would remove that particular value. So wildcards can be really useful if you, say, have something that you know starts with certain characters, but don't know what it finishes with. And this quick trick will work whether you're using SUMIF, COUNTIF or AVERAGEIF. However, you will note that it won't work if you're looking at a numerical value, as our count and our AVERAGEIF are both looking up the numerical value still. They're now both returning 0. So this little wildcard trick only works when it's a word. So that's a really quick introduction to SUMIF, COUNTIF and AVERAGEIF. In our next video, we're going to look at SUMIFs, COUNTIFs and AVERAGEIFs and explain how you might use those. I do hope that you found this short video useful. Please do like and subscribe. And do leave me a comment, let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.